This meeting's being live streamed. Got it. Preparing to stream the meeting. Right, are we live, Michael? It says I'm live, but I can't see anything, so that's interesting. There we go. Live streamed, got it. Preparing to. Right, are we live, Michael? Okay, I think we're double dutying here, Michael. Can you help? I'm not seeing Amy. Guys, just bear with us with our technical hiccup here. Why am I not on? There we go. Michael's clicked the right button for me. Thank you, darling. Sorry about that. I had gone into where it was actually recording, Amy. Welcome to Color Chat Season 2. The last time we did this was May 2021, Amy.
Uh-oh. A brief hiatus.
A brief hiatus, as with so many other things in our lives during that period of time. So welcome to everybody who is joining in. If you're joining us, please say hello and let us know how you've been, and let's just begin the conversation. I'm going to be very rusty. I haven't done lives for ages, so I have Michael helping me here. And today is going to be all about the Black Pearl. It's going to be about a discussion around a book that I created during that hiatus period. And we're going to just say, Michael's just going to give me the screen. We can see who's joining us live. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Michael's going to go fix our set here. Let's see. Lisa Charmaine is in. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for joining us. I see both of you live. That's fabulous. So that means we're pretty cool that end. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do is I first would like to, I want to tell you that season 2 is going to be about pearls. Season 1, we spoke about the color mirrors bottles number 1 to 11. I called in people that were very experienced with the color mirrors system to share their experiences with the different planet bottles that are the number 1 to number 11 in color mirrors. The color mirrors system, as you can see, is behind me here in bottles. And because since that time until now, we created a book called 11 Pearls of Wisdom. And in the 11 Pearls of Wisdom, there are 11 practitioners, color mirrors practitioners, who wrote about colors through the lens of pearl energy. So essentially what I wanted to talk about in season 2 was, you know, the color red has got significance and has a psychology, but what does it mean when that red is shone through the energy of a pearl? So that's going to kind of be the theme to help deepen our knowledge around colors and to understand color psychology at a slightly different level. So that is what we're going to do in season 2. The audience pick is back. You can pick a number between 1, 2, and 3. Let me just share the screen with you so you can have a good look. So, oopsie doopsie. Camera not quite there, but anyway, you can pick number 1, 2, or 3, and we'll do a reading for you. Let me get it on screen for you there. There we go. So you're going to do a reading between I'm going to do a reading. You're going to pick 1, 2, or 3, and I'm going to give you a little reading. Amy, which one are you drawn to today?
2.
2. Okay, I'm drawn to 1 today. Michael, which one are you drawn to?
I'll go 3.
Michael's going 3. Okay, so we have a pick for 1, 2, and 3 already. All right, so we'd like you guys to pick 1, 2, or 3. Pop it in the comments box. And as you're watching us, also kindly share the show. You know, let the chat go out to people. Rella Rose, you're in there. That's fantastic. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. That's brilliant. All right. Now, to kick off season 2, I wanted to make sure that we're going to talk about the Black Pearl, and it's a chapter I wrote. I wanted Amy to be the one to ask me questions about the Pearl chapter, and then the rest of the seasons I'll be interviewing the rest of the authors and answering and chatting with them and getting information about their writing and publishing experience and talk about the colors. But I wanted in this first episode, and as we got going, just to chat a little bit about what happened in the creation of this project. And of course, the important role that Amy Bell, contributed towards this project, because without her, honestly, it could not have happened. It was just not going to happen. It was just not going to be a thing. So in case anybody is new to Color Chats, Amy Bell is the founder of the United Colors of Design magazine, and it's an incredible, I'm very privileged to write a column with her as well. It's an incredibly beautiful magazine that you can read for free online, or you can purchase a copy like I do, and every edition has a different color. And she has been gathering, by doing this magazine and publishing it via Kindle, she's been gathering a lot of experience and expertise in the publishing world and taking a graphic design to a whole new level. So she was absolutely the only person that could have turned what was a thought in my head into an actual beautiful book. So Amy, thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate you. Just literally flown in at, I think, 1 o'clock this morning from your trip to Mexico. So, but you're looking bright and breezy, I have to say.
Yes, I got a new little outfit from Mexico. My face is all tanned up. It was an amazing 10th anniversary trip for Brian and I. So yes, we flew in just yesterday.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, so we start, and of course we're starting earlier than normal. Color Chat used to be a lunchtime one, but I thought we'd do it at 10 o'clock because it just gives people in different countries, different time zones, more of an opportunity to join in. So let's have a look who else has joined us. Denise Millen. Hello, Denise. Welcome, darling.
Good morning,
Deborah.
Denise.
Yeah, Deborah from the United States. Hi, Deborah. Nice to see you in here. Teresa is joined us as well. That's amazing. Thank you. Teresa says, love the magazine. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, it is. Amy is just absolutely brilliant. I mean, the concept of this magazine is stunning. The artists at the back that have been featured in the turquoise edition, I think this was the most artists you've ever featured. Yeah. And of course, turquoise being a creative color and the color of artists, it's not surprising.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. Okay. So Amy, let's talk about the nitty-gritty of this book. What was it like designing this book compared to your normal venture? Tell us a bit about it. And please bear with us while Amy freezes on the screen there as well. She hasn't got the best internet in the world. Are you there, darling? I can hear you, but your screen.
I'm here. Yes.
But it's a nice screen. Yeah, you're there. You're back. If you need to switch the video feed off for a minute.
I'm seeing the screen, Moira. It's not it's okay. Let's see if we can do that.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if we go with just audio, if that helps us a little bit.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can. Thank you.
Okay. So what was it like working on this magazine or on this book compared to the magazine? Well, in both publications, the columnists that are attracted, or the chapter authors that are attracted to the project, are amazing people, and they love color, and they have a lot to say. So I think it's super easy to design when you've got the energy of so many great people coming together that uplift the lightness of the book. And I love working with people who want to pour their hearts out, who are not afraid to give their heart and soul to a project. And they have committed to do that, enjoy that energy, and put out my best. So 11 Pearls of Wisdom, we're working with 11 colors. And so myself, I'm going through the rainbow of all the colors. You, as the creator and, quasi editor and supporter of all authors, you are also going through the aspects of these colors. So I sit down, I work one by one with each color. There they are. And each author's story, where the author is actually working with their color and focusing in on one. and they're learning all there is to know about dealing with that pearl and what it means to them and how it works. And then you and I are working through the rainbow of pearls, and it's intense. You know, things happen, crazy stuff happens, you know, we lose content and my machine freezes up, and everything is being put out there to let me learn what I need to learn from this experience. And I find it just so exhausting and tiring and exhilarating and exciting and joyful to be a part of the rainbow as opposed to just one particular color.
Well, one thing you achieved so beautifully in the book is that each author had their individual presence, and you really, the way you laid the chapter out and the way you took their professional, because we asked them to have professional photographs taken. Some of them you had to touch up because that's what you did. You create two things here. You created a cohesive flow that even though all the photographs were taken differently in different angles, and you know, it still looked like it was meant to be part of a book, of a beautiful book, that they all flowed. But when you get to each individual author and their chapter, there's an individual presence that you created. And that is, I just have to point that out to anybody who hasn't yet got the book. If you haven't yet seen it, you can just see it. It's just absolutely beautiful. I mean, there's Elena and the lilac. And then if you have a look at Zane, you know, it's a totally different photograph, but there's a flow and a beauty and a concept to it. And I want to thank you for that, Amy, because, you know, that people might take that for granted when they look at the book and go, oh, this is, because the feedback we have had is that it is a beautifully designed book. But the energy that goes into being able to do that is just so uniquely you. And I'm just so grateful that you did take part in this project. Thank you for that.
Oh, you are so welcome. And I do want to shout out to the photographers who were also brought into this project via the chapter authors, yeah. Because it's so much easier for me to do my job when we're using professional photos. Mm-hmm. And the photographers were all amazing, and there was very little touch up to do on any of the photographs. So I just thought I wanted to allow the photographers' work to shine through, and how can I best display their work, as well as how can I best display the chapters and the author's story. And when you've got these amazing photos to work with, and then I also use some stock work just to add some more color to the book. But yes, there you go.
Yeah, and you acknowledge them, you know, the decision was made to put them in the book and acknowledge them as the creators of the photographs.
Yeah, we wanted to acknowledge everyone who was who was involved in the project. So the editors, the photographers, the foreword, Chris May, and also at the back we've also got the library of resources where other people who have written about color, the energy of color, the color mirror system, done oracle cards. We've given them an opportunity to have space in this book too, because we're looking to spread color everywhere, all through the world, not just in our little closed color mirrors group. We want to, allow the rainbow to glow everywhere.
I remember we came upon the title, the Pearl, 11 Pearls, during a conversation we had, because there is a book that's created called The Wisdom of Color Mirrors by the founder, Melissa Jolly and Coroni Connolly, who's done a lot of writing on the color mirror system. And in that, they feature, a bottle and a story and lots and hundreds of case studies in here. And it's an incredibly beautiful book. And we were looking at that, and the pearl, what doesn't feature in this book, of course, because the color mirrors book features the entire system of color mirrors, is the pearls. So it just seemed the most logical thing to do is to have pearls of wisdom and create a book that features the 11 pearl bottles that don't feature in that book, and add that to the range, add that to that whole energy of this is wisdom that we're sharing. And so it was during a conversation, it was just one of those, when Amy and I get together, a wonderful thing happens. We get these creative things just begin to pop out of us. And we've done quite a few projects together, but this is definitely one of those that have just been an absolute joy. So thank you for that. And thank you for flowing with me with the pearls, and and taking it to that we have a hard and a soft cover version. I mean, I love that I've got the soft cover version behind me here, but you created two. And of course, on Kindle, it wasn't a case of you just copy the hardcover and turn it into soft cover. You had to reload everything, because the column sizes are different, the page sizes are different. So you put a lot of extra work into this project to make it happen and to get it out into the world that people might not be aware of.
Well, publishing in using different formats is always interesting. You think you've got it nailed down, and then something comes up and the format's got to change or whatever. But thank you so much, Moira. But this is more about your chapter, your project, your book. You are the creator of this amazing highlight of the pearls bottles that are involved in the color mirror system. And you have written the Black Pearl chapter, the very first chapter in the book, as well as the introduction of the book and some of the other copy content goes in.
We're losing you again, Amy.
Are we ready to start talking about you now, Moira?
Yeah, but I think take your
Okay,
video.
let me turn the video off.
But just before we do, I just wanted to see who else is here. Lisa is made Aurelia from Denmark has joined us. Hi. Catherine Bork, who's an author in the book, has joined us. Thank you. Nice to have you. Nice to have one of our authors joining us. Lisa says, I received my hardcover book this weekend. Wow, so beautiful. I can't wait to read each chapter. Oh, that's lovely. That's fantastic. What's nice about the book, Lisa, is you can read it from front to end and go through a rainbow experience and have different colors awaken things in you, or heal things within you with the colors, or you can just open randomly and read what's there. There's lots of little, not just full chapters, but lots of poems and meditations, prayers, pearls of wisdom dotted all throughout the book. So there's something that you can just literally open the book up with. Amy, I just wanted, before you ask me about and kind of interview me for the Black Pearl, just to mention to everybody that the authors are not taking any royalties on this book. And that was a decision they all made unanimously. They're not taking royalties on it. The book sells at cost price. And the reason for that is because we would love you to purchase an extra copy, or once you've finished your copy and you don't want to have it hanging around anymore, and donate it, please. Donate it to charities, donate it to hospices, donate it to waiting rooms, donate it to clinics. Take it to places where somebody might be having a moment of despair or pain or loss, that they can just see the book lying on a coffee table, open up, and hopefully something out of the energy of the book or the words or passage comes out and helps them. And also remind you again, please, if you haven't yet chosen, I'm going to take you back here again. Pick 1, 2, or 3 for a special little color reading at the end of the show. All right, 1, 2, or 3, and type what you've picked in the feed as well, and kindly share the feed as we're going along. Okay, Amy, so let's do the section then that we talk about the Black Pearl chapter.
Oh, yes, let's do that. So in the color mirror system, we have the G8 bottle, which is the darkest bottle in the system, this black looking bottle, although it's not black, it's actually dark magenta, but it does appear to be black, and we refer to it as the black bottle. And so in the system, we have this bottle, but then of course we come out with the pearls. So what's the difference between this shimmery pearly energy and the G8 energy, and how has that helped you and your clients? Like, what's the difference between the two?
Well, the thing with black, when you just look at the black and the G8 bottle and the information that we get taught as color therapists with black is a color that says, I can build your confidence. So think about in the corporate world how people would dress in black to give themselves confidence. But what happens when you look at the lens of black and that confidence through the energy of a pearl? So for example, I'm wearing black pearls today. So now I'm not just dressing confidently in black, but I've got a little pizzazz going on here, a little bit of pearls going on. The energy shifts and changes with black. It softens, it becomes something more elegant the minute the black pearls are added to it. So that's a bit of a difference. Then also in black, you could look at black being the phoenix rising from the ashes. That's literally what black says in our color psychology book, the phoenix rising from the ashes. But in a pearl, it's not about a phoenix rising from the ashes. It's about a pearl popping out of a shell. So through black, looking at black through the energy of a pearl, you know, and the pearl story of becoming, the pearl starts as an irritant. I mean, really, the pearl is a piece of dirt. It has no value. It irritates the oyster. The oyster then keeps coating it and coating it to try and stop it from irritating its soft flesh. And what emerges over time are these beautiful pearls. So the story of black through the pearl energy has a slightly different connotation on being rebirthed and starting again. So for me, when you look at black as the phoenix rising from the ashes, it talks about a tremendous amount of courage that was needed to come through deep dark nights of the soul and rebirth yourself and start again. But when you speak about black the pearl coming out of the oyster, it talks about value. I had no value. I was irritant. I was dirt. I was unwanted. But look how I ended up. I became precious. I became something of substance, something of with wisdom, and over time, look at how beautiful I've become. So that's how I like, that's why I love the pearls, and I love that we created the book, you know, just to highlight color through that lens of the pearl energy. Have you got more questions, Amy? You've frozen on me there, girl. Just cut video again.
I did. I do have more questions, of course. Okay, so can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, girl.
Okay, perfect. All right. When you talk about the pearl coming out of your shell, like the pearl is more about coming out of a shell than it is the phoenix rising. I would have thought maybe that would have been the chapter title, but you chose acceptance. So can you explain why this pearl inspired you to talk about acceptance?
Why did I
lose you?
Okay. Why did I write about acceptance? I wasn't actually going to write a Black Pearl chapter. We had an author, and unfortunately she couldn't complete the project, and I had to jump in at the last minute and write. And I thought, well, what am I going to write about? And you know, and I literally just held the Black Pearl in my hands. I meditated with it, put it next to my bed, slept with it, and said, "Tell me, what would you like to write about?" And then I had a client come in for a session, a young girl who's been a regular client for a while now. And the subject of acceptance came up during our session, and she kept picking the black bottles. And I thought to myself, you know, I take for granted when I'm in sessions with clients that I talk about the importance of acceptance. What if this was the chapter? And that's really the inspiration came from being with this young girl. And what it did, because you know, you have this information and knowledge and experience of what you're going to write about, but when you start writing about it, you go back in a journey. So as authors, we tend to go back into our past. And I looked at, and it helped me look at different times in my life when there was really no control, and I had to just simply accept things, especially accept the darkness, especially accept times when I was in depression. And that's really just how it came about. So it was, the client inspired me, took me on a journey into the past, and slowly but surely the chapter just came out of me that way.
Oh, that's amazing. See, I love how when we're talking to clients, stuff comes up for ourselves, and then it inspires us to do, you know, the chapter, or maybe it has you look at something that's in you, or you're going through something in that moment, and being aware enough as the mentor in that moment to go, maybe there's something here for me, not being thinking that we know everything or that there's nothing left to learn. So that's amazing. So what does acceptance mean to you then?
Freedom.
Mhm.
Acceptance has a way of letting go, helping you to let go and surrender, to not want to control, to not want to be the perfect one, to not want to have put up appearances. It somehow acceptance says I'm okay to be vulnerable, and that was one of the things that happened in the chapter. As I wrote about things that happened in my past that my family's probably not even aware of, so it's going to be a surprise to them when they read that chapter. I had already had my best friend say to me, "Oh my God, she phoned me the minute she'd finished reading the Black chapter, and she said, I didn't know this had happened to you, and I'm so sorry." And we had a conversation about it. So acceptance, it has a lot to do with being okay to be vulnerable and to be truthful and transparent. But for me, it gave me freedom, accepting parts of myself and accepting some of the dark things and the depressions that I've been through. Yeah, it's given me freedom to just be who I am. So now when I have days when I do get depressed, it's like, that's okay. I accept it. I don't fight it. I'm okay with it.
Good. Well, oh, right. So in your chapter, you did write a lot of personal stuff and exposed yourself in a way that was super brave, Moira. And so I just wanted to know, how has your personal experience with depression inspired your work, informed your work as a color therapist?
I think there's something that I remember Melissa Jolly, the founder of Color Mirrors, told me when I first started this journey 20 years ago of being a color therapist. Something she said that has always stuck with me, and I share with my students, is that I didn't learn about being a therapist and helping people in a book. I didn't go to university and get a degree in psychology. Literally, my work is based on life experience. So I think that experience of what I've been through, somehow when you're sitting with a client, they get a sense of you really genuinely have empathy for where they're at. It's not something you've read in a book on how to analyze the client. You've actually been through the experience, you've come out the other side. So I think in a way, talking about the Black in the way that I did in the chapter is a way, and putting those vulnerable, as you say, vulnerable stories out there, it's just another way for me to say, hey, you know what, I got through it. I got through depression. I got through deep, dark nights of the soul, and I'm still here. I didn't leave the planet. I stayed. I'm working, and it's worth it. It's worth the journey. Look where you can end up. You can end up helping other people. So I think it's the example that you leave behind, and the example, you're a practicing example of hope when you actually practice as a color therapist through color. I have no idea if that answered your question, but that's kind of where that went, Amy.
Yeah, no, it does actually. I think that when you can be vulnerable, and there's lots of people who speak about vulnerability, and it used to be, if you exposed yourself, you were showing your weakness. And that was not a good thing. I think in the 80s and the 90s, it was like, put on that brave front and don't talk about it, and just allow people to think that you're doing well. And even in the beginning of the social media, everyone's putting their best face forward. And now we're entering into a time where, like, we all know it's bullshit. We all know that, everyone struggles with something. So, to have people's vulnerability put out there just makes you human and makes you a better mentor, I think.
Yeah.
The last question.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, carry on. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, so the last question I have here is, what advice would you give someone who's struggling with darkness or depression and seeking acceptance and healing?
Look for the gift in it. There's a reason. There's a reason why that shit happens to you, literally. And if I can sum up where Black has taken me in the journey that the darkness took me to, is it turned me into an author, a teacher, a spiritual teacher, and somebody who is able to take shadow work and turn it into tools that can help you. Yeah, I did the I mean, you helped me design this one as well, you know, the black box with the shadow deck and the gargoyles. Talk about being vulnerable. Put yourself out there in 44 images of gargoyles and put your shit out there. It's like, hey, I've been through the dark. No, I've been through the darkness. There's 44 faces I've had to face in my own consciousness to get me through my dark stuff. But there's a gift. There's something you're going to get out of that time when you're depressed, that time when you're in a deep dark night of the soul, because the gifts, the true gifts, who you are and what your potential is, lies buried in the darkness. It just does. And it's the nature of life, that when you're a young child and you have a natural talent or gift, that, you know, it gets suppressed. It's just sometimes parents are busy and they don't have time to nurture a gift that you have, and you get to think that gift you have is not good enough, or it's not up to the standards of everybody else, or it's something that is so unique that it's so foreign, it scares people. So you dampen it down and you squash it down and you put it away in what I call Pandora's box, Shadowlands. So going into the darkness, I recommend it, because you get to know parts of yourself. I found in my darkness, I'm an author. I had teachers telling me, Moira, you can't spell, you'll never write, you'll never be an author. You know, you've got good stories, but you can't write worth a shit. I mean, that's literally what they told me. Yeah. And I'm from a school in South Africa, and the teachers would swear. And really, to emphasize a point, I'm an author now, and not just an author for books and decks, but in your magazine, I've published articles with you. I love it, and I absolutely love writing. And I just learned that, yeah, that I did have a gift writing. I did have a gift to create through the word. And I've discovered editors that can magically make it all look really good.
Well, I used to be the kind of person who would see somebody who was going through some darkness and would want to bring them out of the darkness, and, you know, almost be a court jester in trying to bring people out of that space, because I thought, well, you need to be happy. Everyone needs to be happy. And then through working with color, I discovered that, you know, maybe sometimes people just need to sit in there for a minute. They don't need to be yanked out or, you know, joked out of the darkness. There's a reason why they're there and what's going on. And then now I can just hold their hand through it. And you're amazing at that. Like the shadow work that you've done, the love and money boot camps that you've done, getting people to face their shadows. And I've been the recipient of one of your, I don't know what you call it, in your face moments numerous times, where you're not letting people get away with running away from the darkness and hiding it. Like it needs to be exposed. And then the cool thing is, in the darkness, if you're quiet enough and you're still enough, you can see the shimmer, you can see the glimmers of light. And then if you follow that galactic northern lights out of your darkness, then good things happen.
Yeah, because one of the things, if you go into what we call your shadow side, is you go into feeling anger. Instead of brushing over it and going, oh, I'm supposed to now, you know, not show my emotions. I'm not supposed to show I'm angry. I'm supposed to be the nice one. When you're in a dark phase, you're going to go into where you buried that emotion that you didn't originally have. And it's a good thing to do, because that emotion can get out of control and be unleashed in like a road rage moment, you know, or an inappropriate thing that you're going to say. It's going to bubble out of you somewhere. So doing shadow work means you go in and you investigate those emotions that you buried. Anger is one of those emotions that it's a good thing to have. It's just part of being human. You are supposed to have, you're supposed to be angry. You're supposed to have had your 3-year-old and your 4-year-old tantrums. But no, you're in the shopping mall and mom doesn't like to show that she's a bad parent. And she tells you you've got to get off the floor and stop throwing a tantrum. So you learn from a young age that you're not supposed to show when you're angry or frustrated. And it's not a form of communication that's allowed on this planet. So doing shadow work really is going in and allowing yourself to have that tantrum, to have that feeling. But what I love about what you say is allowing other people to have it as well. So definitely when you see somebody throwing an angry tiff out there, let them do it and say, hey, that's cool that you're showing how you feel. You don't have to engage with it, but it's cool. You can go and have that moment. Enjoy it. It's good for your soul.
Yeah, exactly.
I love what Black has
Well,
it's been such an excellent tool. Yeah.
it's a good one.
Is that it? Is that what you wanted to ask me?
That's what I wanted to ask you. And now I think everybody who's been watching wants to know what their little message is in 1, 2, 3. So last chance to choose your number. Type it in the chat. Choose your number. I chose number 2. I think you chose 1 and Michael chose 3, right? So we've got all 3 for one for each of us here.
All right. Okay. So randomly the bottles that were picked. For those of you who picked number 1, you have got G9 Faith bottle. And the G9 Faith bottle, let's make sure that you can all see it nicely there. The Faith bottle, those of you who picked number 1, it is going to be a week of faith. Whatever comes at you, and if there are some dark black moments coming at you, take a deep breath and step into faith and just go into that knowingness that faith will carry you through. Faith and trust are those energies that are the opposite response to have them to take control and manipulate things to look better or feel better for you. Faith says the universe has got my back. The universe has got this. I can take a deep breath, let it just be what it needs to be. I have faith that the outcome is going to be a good one. So whatever comes at you this week, just step into faith, take a deep breath, try to not go into control, try to not go into fear. Okay, that's kind of what the colors mean. The turquoise color on top is that faith and trust energy. The gold underneath is that need to go into fear, that gut-wrenching fear, and then controlling things because you're in unknown territory. Unknown territory for you in week 1 is a good place to be this week. So I'm hoping you like your message for number 1s. Number 2 is the C11 solid gold bottle.
Ooh. And I listened to a lot of disco, so I had some solid gold this past week.
So gold, of course, and you went to Mexico on your holiday, so it's all about the sun god, civilizations that worship the sun gods. Did you go and see any pyramids or?
Oh, we did. We saw the pyramid of the sun and the pyramid of the moon.
Oh,
Yes.
there you go. Well, there you go. That's quite timely. So, because you don't know what these bottles were. This is a surprise to you. So, C11 gold is about turning your face to the sun. If you're in the northern hemisphere, spring's here, summer's coming. It's about, literally allowing yourself to tune back into the nature and the rhythm of the heat. If you're in the southern hemisphere and you're beginning to see some cooler weather, do what you can to get out into the sun. So I think the sun is an important message here, but this is also a lesson in gold that says, yellow represents the ego, gold represents authentic power. This is an opportunity to also make a decision this week. Am I going to have a lower vibration responses to things this week, or am I going to step into this gold sunshine energy, which is I am this, I'm authentically this. So, when you were mentioning something about putting those masks on, in years gone by, people would put on a face to say, I'm okay. You're not okay. It's okay to let people know. So let it loose this week. Just let them know how you feel. Let them know the true responses of you. Don't go hiding who you are. Just bring it out and be authentically you. I hope that's useful, Amy.
Yep.
And then for those who picked number 3 is bottle 32. Let's get it on the shelf there. And that is blue on top and dark green at the bottom. It's called communication. And we're in a Mercury retrograde until the 14th of May. So, okay, so for those who picked number 3, Mercury retrograde is kind of messing you around a little bit, making you say things, or you feel you're saying things, or you're hearing you saying things, and you might regret it, and you might go, well, I wish I hadn't said that, or wish I'd been kinder or gentler in my communication. So 32 says, just take a moment to breathe in the green from the heart and let it come through the blue of the voice, so that you can express what's on your heart and not what's a knee-jerk shadow response. And so, yeah, think before you speak kind of energy for those with number 3. And I hope that's useful. It's not such a, yeah, Mercury retrograde is kind of doing its thing. It's really just watch out for communications. I think that's it for number 3s. I'm hoping that those messages worked out well for you and that you enjoyed them. And please comment in the feed box whether you enjoyed them. So, Amy, that's us, except one more thing, of course, is that we're going to work on another book. We're putting it out there that we're going to do this again. We're going to do this again. There we go. We're going to do this again.
We are going to do it again, and I can't wait to do it again.
11 Dragons of Wisdom. So we're looking for people who love color, who practice color with a color mirror system. We're looking for you to share your stories from your heart and filter it through the energy of dragons. There's a lot of animal energy here, so I'm hoping that, you know, there'll be some animal stories, maybe some from your pets, inspired from nature and animals come through. Power stories. The dragons are about claiming your power. How did you claim your power? We'd love to have your stories and feature them in, you know, literally a second book exactly as beautiful as this one, but it'll be called 11 Dragons of Wisdom. So if you are interested, you got to let myself and Amy know. But we need 11 authors. We can't do it unless we have 11 authors, because there's 11 dragons in color mirrors.
Yepper. I'm excited. We've sort of played around with the cover for this one already. So we'll the cover, when you see the book cover, it usually ignites something and people see it as real and can imagine themselves in it. So I think there's been some promos out that you've used the book.
I've seen the cover of it.
Yes, so if anybody is interested in being a part of the 11 Dragons of Wisdom, Moira, just drop a little DM to Moira and let her know that you're into it. What are the colors that we've got for the dragons?
You have a black dragon, copper dragon, red dragon, pink dragon, green dragon, turquoise dragon, a lilac dragon, royal blue. Oh, there's a coral dragon as well. Yeah, so there's 11 of them. And the white dragon, ends with a white. We'll do the same journey that we did with the pearls, where we take them through the rainbow. We start at the black, and then we'll end them in the white and take them through all the colors that are the dragons.
Good. Okay, I'm excited.
So thank you, Amy, for joining today, and thank you for being my interviewer today for the Black chapter. I look forward to introducing you and chatting about color and the color pearls through the lens of the contributors, the authors of the 11 Pearl book, the 11 Pearls of Wisdom book. We're going to be featuring them every Monday, 10 o'clock on the Color Chat Show. We're going to have 11 episodes. And you are so welcome to join in and tell us what you're learning from it, ask questions of the authors. And I look forward to seeing you then every Monday from now on, except for when there's public holidays, of course, on the Color Chat Show for the next 11 episodes. So thank you so much, Amy. Thank you again. Thank you. There's not enough big words to say thank you for what you've done for this book and for to create this incredible, beautiful. Please donate a book, take it somewhere where hope, healing, and inspiration is needed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, everybody. Enjoy your week. See you next week. Bye.